University of Houston, Bauer College of Business. This is Personal Finance, and I am Jim Munchback, your facilitator, professor of personal finance, and we are about to get started. It is 10 June, year of our Lord 2025. My, this year is flying by. So I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a good summer. If you're in our summer school semester, I hope you're having a good summer too, but we have a lot of work to do. So let's get started. Before we get started though, I do have the Zoom meeting running, although as we've discovered over time, the Zoom meeting is really not, it's not required because this is an asynchronous course, but it is available. So if you have questions or you want to interact with me in a live way, the Zoom room is a good way to do that. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn or X, I think that's it, then I would encourage you to leave a comment below and I'll see those. If you're a student in the course and you want to take advantage of the class collaboration, you're welcome to leave your class collaboration comments in the you can leave those in the comments on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you want. Just be sure to grab that screenshot and include it in your assignment. So hopefully you can hear me okay. And that's another thing, if you wouldn't mind leaving a comment just for fun to let me know how the audio is and also the video. I've got a new mic. It's a wireless mic, so I can move around without losing too much audio. So I'm curious how that's sounding. Looks like we have some students coming into the Zoom room. Welcome if you're in the Zoom room. Welcome. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or X, and LinkedIn. So I hope if you're watching on any of those platforms, feel free to subscribe. If you want to be notified, by the way, I would encourage you to watch on YouTube. It's a very effective platform. It's easy to keep track. If you hit the subscribe button, you'll be notified. If you hit the little bell, actually, you'll be notified. So before we get started, it is about 2 minutes after the hour, so I'm going to get started here in a minute. But before we do that, I want to let you know we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. And some of you have let me know, and I appreciate you letting me know, that this page that we use to sign up for RightCapital, this is part of your course. There's no additional cost for this. It is included in your money study group enrollment, which is on the Thinkific platform. So if you've not already done that, you're going to need to do that. But I wanted to just let you know that this is not working. So if you try to set up your account with RightCapital or Bauer, so this is the RightCapital platform. You can see that in the URL. It's app.rightcapital.com, but it's branded for my company, Bauer Financial. So if you try to create an account here, which is normally the way we do it, there is a problem. I've been on the phone with my support team at RightCapital, and they're working on it. I'm not sure what the problem is, but my assumption is last semester we kind of got hammered with bots. And so I asked them to do some research and try to fix that, and they fixed it. And now it's broken. I think they fixed it so that bots can't sign up, but it somehow made it so that you can't sign up. So instead of that, we're going to use this. If you jump into Money Study Group, you'll have a link, and the link will take you here, where you will just give me your full name and your email address, and then click the agree button, and then sign up. Once that happens, once you do this, and again, you can jump into Money Study Group, and you'll see this post that says RightCapital sign up with this image. It'll be in Money Study Group. Click in there, and there will be a link, And again, that link will take you to this sign-up form, and that's what you're looking for. And once you sign up, I'll have your full name and email that you want to use in your financial plan, and that will then allow me to go in and manually set you up in RightCapital. So it's going to take a minute. I'm hoping that after today, this is going to be the secret class collaboration for this week's assignment is how do you sign up for RightCapital? We have a bit of an issue. You're welcome to mention that in your class collaboration comment. You can post that in Money Study Group, or you can post it in the comments below. Don't forget to take a screenshot. That's this week's class collaboration. Secret question is how do you sign up for RightCapital? And that is because we're having a technical issue. Hopefully we'll get it fixed right away, but it's, next week, not this week. This week you're not really going to need to have your RightCapital account set up, but you will need it set up for the following week's assignment. So if you want to be ahead of the game, please do that. Go ahead and jump into Money Study Group. Click on that post in Money Study Group in this week's module, and you'll see this image, and you're just going to want to click on the link there, and it'll take you here where you will sign up. So that's this week's class collaboration, is how do you sign up for RightCapital? That's an important little thing. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. For those of you who tried, thank you very much. Like I said, I've been on the phone with RightCapital with our support team. One thing I want to mention, I'm noticing if you're listening, if you're watching if you're in the Zoom room, I'm looking at the Zoom room right now. I have it on my MacBook monitor. And one of the issues that I've found over time is it's blurry. It doesn't look good at all. So I hope that it looks better on YouTube. I'm assuming it does. Okay, let's get started. I think, what we have here, your free credit report, that's what we're going to talk about. So this week's assignment, you have 2 assignments this week, as normal in summer school. 2 assignments. One of them is the free credit report. So I'm going to just go over what's included, why we're doing this assignment. I'll talk about that, and then I also just wanted to mention you have another assignment, which is the parental interview. And that is the wrong, okay, that's the wrong, I think, here we go. Maybe this is it. Obviously that was wrong. This is correct. So you're seeing just a little graphic that I created for this week's second assignment. By the way, this is my favorite assignment of all. It's the parental interview. And you'll share your first memories of money, but you'll also do an interview with a parent. I'll talk about that after we go through the first assignment, which is your credit report. So I'm just going to go through, let me get this out of the way. And yeah, if you haven't done so, if you want to be notified when I post these, because this is going to you, if you go to uhplaylist.com, which I had up there a second ago, that's where you'll find this semester's playlist. So if you haven't already done that, please do that. I'm getting emails from students who are asking questions that I covered in last week's lecture, and that lecture was saved in this playlist. So if you're asking me questions that I covered, I'm probably not going to answer them. Also, if you're not in the GroupMe, if that's something you want to use, if you want to ask questions and have other students be able to answer those, jump into the GroupMe. That link is also in the syllabus and in Canvas. So check that out. But anyway, that's where that's where this will be saved. It's not there at the moment because as it's live streaming, I have to wait until after the live stream to do that. So that is where you'll want to go. If you do want to subscribe to the channel, though, and hit the little bell, you will get notified when I do these updates. So let me jump into the credit report, and you will have a quiz in Money Study Group this week. So that's something you'll want to take advantage of, the quiz. Otherwise, you'll get a deduction. I want to talk a little bit about the credit report. When I started teaching this course, one of the things I thought would be a good idea is to make you aware of the fact that you can get free credit reports 3 times a year. There are 3 credit bureaus, and you're going to learn about those this week in Money Study Group. But there are 3 credit bureaus that give you free credit reports. So you can get 1 free credit report from each of these bureaus, which means you could get 3 credit reports, 3 free credit reports each year for free. I think I said that. And it's part of this week's assignment because this week is, this assignment, the credit report, it's important for you because students are a big target for credit. So there's a couple of things that are going to happen this week. You're going to learn about credit reports. You're also going to learn about what's in your credit report. You're also going to learn about your credit score, and those are 2 different things. Your credit score and your credit report. I'm not looking for your credit score. I'm looking for your credit report because I want you to know what's on your credit report. And you may find a surprise. Very often when we do this assignment, students find surprises in their credit report. I found a surprise when I did my credit report a while back. I had lent one of my employees some money, and she needed some help, so I lent her some money, and then I did a credit report, and it showed up. She was on my credit report, which surprised me. So that's one of the things, one of the benefits. I want you to make sure you don't have any surprises. One of the things that happens if you have things on your credit report that you don't want to have on your credit report is it will affect your credit score. And if you have a bad credit score, if you didn't know this, you're going to learn this week. Your credit score will impact the cost of borrowing. So you want to have a good credit score. And your credit report is kind of your guide for what is impacting your credit score. So again, I'm not looking for your credit score. That's important, but it's not the assignment. The assignment is to convince me that you went ahead and you got your credit report. Now, I'll just tell you, if you don't have a Social Security number, you won't be able to get a credit report. And there is an alternate assignment for those of you who do not have a Social Security number. You'll do a different assignment. But if you have a Social Security number, you're required to get a free credit report. And there's tons of personal information on that credit report. And you're welcome to upload that into Canvas to show me that you completed the assignment. But I don't care to really see your credit report. Like, it's not required. So you're welcome to just say, hey, I didn't upload it, but here's what I found on my credit report. That's what I mean by your job is to convince me that you did it. So again, your credit score is an important part of how to control the cost of credit or influence it anyway. One of the biggest things you'll find in your financial life is the cost of your mortgage. Your mortgage, it's a big deal, it's a big loan, and so again, your credit score will impact what you pay for a mortgage loan. And you will be working, as we move forward, you're going to be required to pretend anyway that you're buying a house this semester. So you'll have to do a little research and figure out how much do you expect to pay if you have a 30-year or a 15-year mortgage. So that's coming. You don't have to worry about that yet, but it's important just to understand why this assignment matters in terms of your financial life. And it's something I hope you'll do. Your free credit report, I hope you will do this every year, at least once a year, just so that you can keep up with the data that's on your credit report, because that's what's being reported to the whole world, and that's what's generating your credit score again. Another thing that's kind of important about your credit is job offers. Now, it may surprise you to know that employers look at your credit. When I was a State Farm agent, I hired a lot of folks, and one of the things that, because you were a licensed professional, if you worked for me, even though I was your boss and I was the State Farm agent who hired you, you still had to have an agreement with State Farm, the entity, and what was that even called? It was some kind of agreement. And even though I hired you, they gave you certification. They gave you access to their systems through my agency. And because of that, if you had really bad credit, they would not allow me to hire you. So I know that's true for other employers as well. If you have problems with your credit, it can prevent you from getting certain jobs. And so again, the way that you will know that you have problems with your credit is your credit report. So that's what I want you to be aware of. That's what I want you to get to know this week. So let's jump into what is a credit report. It's just a detailed record, and you'll see when you do your credit report. Now, some of you will do a credit report because you have a Social Security number, but you have no actual creditors, and you'll find that your credit report is very minimal. There'll be very few things on your credit report. But for those of you who have multiple student loans and credit cards and other pieces of credit, you'll find a lot more data on your credit report, and it's a detailed. So there's a list of the bureaus that you can get: Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. I think there may be one other that does it as well, but you'll go to annualcreditreport.com, freeannualcreditreport.com. The link is in your assignment and money study group, and I think it's also in Canvas, but that's where you're going to go to get your credit report. There's lots of personal information on there. Again, when you do, like, your Social Security numbers on there. So I would, if I were you, I would not upload my credit report into Canvas just because of that, or I would redact anything personal. But again, I know it's easy, and you're welcome to do that, and I'll review it and delete it. But mainly, I just want you to convince me that you saw and reviewed your credit report and that you got it. So if a lot of students just upload it because it's easy to show me that you did it, and then you get full credit. One of the things that impacts your credit score, and one of the things you'll find in your credit report, are the credit accounts you have. And the details of those credit accounts, those different types of accounts, will influence your credit score as well as your payment history. Are you late? What type of credit do you have? So you're going to learn about what types of credit accounts impact your credit score. And if you have those, you'll see them on your credit report. Another thing is credit inquiries. So if you're going shopping for a new RV, I'm trying to sell my old RV, so that's on top of mind. There was something I did the other day that resulted in a credit inquiry. I can't even remember what it was at the moment, but you know what I'm talking about, right? If you apply for credit, if you try to buy a car, you're going to see that there's something showing on your credit report. And so that's something that I want you to be aware of. Let's see, I want you to understand your FICO score, and that's really kind of the key. Your FICO score is generated by the information that's in your credit report. But there's a good deal of information inside of Money Study Group for your FICO score, what's included in your FICO score. In fact, I included a white paper just so you can understand and learn what's in your FICO score. And also, there's a quiz. Payment history, I think I already mentioned that. That's a big part of what's in your credit score, your FICO score, and that's part of the quiz as well. So how much you owe, obviously, if you have a lot of debt, the amount that you owe will affect your credit score. So that's pretty common knowledge, I think. Another thing that impacts your credit score is the length of your credit. So if you have an account that you've had for a long time, that gives you a better credit score. If you have a lot of new accounts, that gives you a less good credit score. So new credit is another thing that will kind of ding your credit score. If you have new credit if you're cycling through adding new credit accounts all the time, you're going to have a lower credit score. And the types of credit, I think I already mentioned, like for example, if you have a mortgage loan, that's a good kind of credit. Or I think student loans are relatively good versus credit cards. Car loans aren't so great, but they're better than credit cards. So it just depends on the mix of credit that you have in your credit life that will affect your credit score. Let's see, so I've got some information on the screen that's going pretty fast. It's kind of hard to read. You might want to grab a screenshot, or maybe not. I wouldn't worry about it. Just the bottom line here is key differences between your credit reports and your FICO scores. So just keep in mind that your credit report, it's just a bunch of data. But that data feeds into the algorithm that produces your credit score. And so that's why this assignment is part of personal finance this semester. I think I've already talked about why they matter. So the credit report and the credit score, and you'll learn more about that this week. A couple of tips, I think, if I can get to this. Let's see, there we go. Couple of tips: pay your bills, pay them on time, maintain low balances, high credit utilization ratios. In other words, if your credit is maxed out, it's going to reduce your credit score. And do limit the new credit applications. Too many hard inquiry means that you've applied for a new credit account, and that hard inquiry shows up on your report and it causes your credit score to go down. So those are just some basic tips. Another tip is just do a regular review like you're going to do this week. Do a regular review of your credit report. And build long-term credit history. So if you get a credit account, keep it. Don't close it out. I use the same credit cards. I don't have a lot of credit cards, but I like to use the same cards for a long time. And when there's a need to change, then I do that. But I don't do it. I don't swap out credit cards regularly. I keep the same one. A couple of misconceptions that you might want to be aware of. Some people think that checking your credit report impacts your credit score, and it does not. And then another one that I think is interesting, and this was a misconception that I had when we started doing this credit report in the course. One is that there's only one credit score. But you probably already know this because you probably get a credit score from a different source than the FICO score. And somewhere in this week's lesson, you're going to learn what FICO stands for. I used to know, and now I forgot. But anyway, that's not the only credit score out there. Let's see, do we have some more misconceptions? A high income, yeah, this is a good one. Two things. Number one is if you make a lot of money, you may think that increases or improves your credit score, but it's not true. It's all of the things we've already talked about and the things that you're going to learn about what impacts your credit score. Those are the things that impact your credit score, not how much you earn. You can earn a ton of money, but mismanage your credit in such a way that you have a pretty poor credit score. Pretty poor credit score. Tried to make that rhyme. But anyway, you get the message. And number two is, a lot of people think, and I thought this too, that if you close old accounts, that will increase your credit score. And in some ways it does, because when you close a credit account, you increase your capacity for credit. You reduce the amount of credit that you have. But the problem is those old accounts, they give you the track record if you've paid your bills on time. Those old accounts that you're closing have some benefits. So that's just something you might want to know. Okay, I am not going to ask any questions. If you have questions, I would encourage you, if you want to ask a question about credit scores, after you've done your homework this week, you can jump into GroupMe and ask some questions. And if those questions are not getting answered in GroupMe, you're welcome to reach out to me and I'll answer those questions. So now we're going to jump into the next assignment. So it is 10:27. We're doing pretty good for time. This is summer school, so we go really fast. I hope you're keeping up, but we will now jump into week 4. Let's see, I think I have, do I have a list? Yeah, this is the basic overview. This is my cheat sheet for this assignment. And again, this is my favorite. This is hands down my favorite assignment to review. So you will do this assignment. You will interview a parent. It's called First Memories of Money. First Memories of Money, First Memories of Money. I should fix that. Part 1 is your first memories of money. So just think about, like, if this works better for older people. Like if I talk to someone my age and I set the table by asking them, what was your first memory of money? And then I kind of set the table by saying, maybe it was your first paycheck, or maybe it was getting allowance from your parents. With students, I usually say something like, maybe it was, I've got a grandson, Caleb, who just turned 7 and he just lost a tooth. He got some money for his birthday. He got some money from the tooth fairy. I'm not the tooth fairy. That wasn't my business. But I did give him some money for his birthday. And so his first memories of money might be that, you know. I'm trying to teach him about money. So he probably has, when he gets to be my age or your age, he will probably have a lot of memories about money that come from this season of his life. But what about you? Maybe it was the tooth fairy, maybe it was allowance, maybe it was your first paycheck. But again, if it's an older person, you'll get generally a different reaction, and I'll go over that for a minute just to help you understand why it matters. So part of the assignment is your first memories of money, but then the parental interview is more, it's different. Because when you start asking a parent, when you do the interview, one of the questions is to ask them about their first memory of money. And that's really where the interview gets interesting. So let me see if I can get to, here we go. I think this is where we want to be. So when I meet with a client for the first time, or a prospective client as a financial planner, one of the most important questions that I like to ask is about your first memories of money. Because if you're if you're going to work with a financial advisor, there are a lot of things that the financial advisor should understand about you. And I learned, I attended a financial planning residency program, and my mentors there were awesome. And one of the mentors that I had was a guy named Rich Basillo in Philadelphia. Rich, if you're watching, I wrote several books, and in each of my books I talk about my experience in the financial planning residency program. It was put on by the Financial Planning Association, but Rich Basillo was a very impactful fellow. I got to know him, really liked him, even though I say in the book I hated him because he was this good-looking dude, very fit, everything I wanted to be in my life, very successful, very confident, and he was our mentor. He and some other folks, and they were all just awesome. But Rich shared, they were all there to help us as new certified financial planners. They were there to help us get started as CFPs. One of the best investments I ever made to attend the Financial Planning Association residency program. Anyway, Rich, I think it was the first day that he spoke, he talked about the questions that he asked during the first meeting with prospective clients. And one of those questions was first memories of money. And he set the table just by saying, he shared with us how he asked this question. Like, I'm setting the table for how you're going to ask this question when you do your parental interview. And so what Rich said was, he just sets the table for folks by saying maybe it was your first paycheck, or maybe it was your first allowance, or, and he just kind of set the table by talking about what types of first memories of money you might have. And while he was doing that, while he was setting the table for this question about first memories of money, my mind was just flooded with my first memories of money. And as Rich talked about this question and why it was important, it just made so much sense to me. Because as I thought about my first memories of money, when I was a kid, I was really into money. I grew up in a family with lots of kids and one income. My mom didn't work. She worked, but she didn't get paid. She worked hard, taking care of 4 kids. And I remember my mind flooded with first memories of money. And if you want, I think I put some of those, I know I did, I put them in Money Study Group for you to read. But my mind flooded with first memories of money. And that's what's going to happen when you do this interview. So when you interview your parent, or, now this is important, I'm about to tell you something very important about this week's assignment. If you interview a brother or a sister or a cousin or a roommate, you'll get no points for this assignment. This assignment is for a parent. It can be an aunt, an uncle, it can be a grandparent, it can be someone a generation older than you, but not someone, it's not for your roommate, okay? This is for someone hopefully in your family who can help you appreciate what they learned about money and managing money. That's the purpose of this exercise. So one of the things that I learned along the way, and one of the things that Rich helped us understand, is that our first memories of money have those experiences along with those memories are something that shapes us in terms of how we behave with money. So that is one of the fundamental reasons that this question and this assignment is part of this course. Because when you interview a parent, and it doesn't have to be a parent, let me talk about who I want you to interview. I want you to start thinking right now about someone in your life who you believe has some experience managing money that can help you do a better job of managing money. So typically I would say someone in your family who you respect, who you admire, who you look up to, who you appreciate how you've watched them live their lives, and you want to learn from them. So that's really kind of what I want you to start thinking about. Who are you going to interview? Again, it can be a parent, it can be an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent. It can't be your roommate or your brother or your sister. So I want you to think about that. Who are you going to interview? It's an important part of the assignment, obviously. One of the things that you're going to discover when you interview someone about money, their first memories about money, it's just one of the questions. It sets the table. It kind of triggers additional questions. And I've listed some questions for you to ask in the interview, but you certainly can ask different questions in addition to the ones that are part of the assignment. But what you're going to find is that different people have different attitudes about money. They think about money differently, and because they think about it differently, they behave differently. And my suspicion is that some of your behavior with money, some of the ways that you manage money today, you're unaware of, you haven't really thought about. And so by doing this interview and learning from someone else, you're going to be able to quickly put into perspective some of the ways that they think about money that influences the way that they manage money. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping you learn some things that change the way you think about money, because if you can change the way you think about money and have a longer view, a better perspective, a smarter, more wise perspective about money, then you will be able to manage it better. If you have a more clear vision about what you want from your life, you will be able to manage money better. It will help you. It will help you figure out what matters most, so that then you can connect your financial decisions to those bigger ideas, those bigger dreams, that bigger perspective than just what do you want right now. So it's an important assignment, and you're going to be able to gain that perspective from this person, hopefully, that you interview. So I want you to gain some deeper insights from the people that the person or the couple that you interview. So I'm hoping this is a meaningful assignment for you. Like I said, it's my favorite assignment to grade and review and read, and I look forward every semester to reading it, to seeing what you learn when you do this interview. So let's see, we've got just a couple of triggers here. Triggers, they're just something to help you as you ask the questions and think about for yourself. First memories of money, things that help you kind of discover or go deeper. We want to go back as far as possible to your very first memories of money. And you don't have to try very hard if you just set the table in a decent way with the person you're interviewing. I promise. I've asked this question probably 1,000 times, maybe more, but it is the most fun question to ask, because when people start to go back in time, they experience certain emotions, and they're, just to be with someone and have a conversation where they're more having an emotional experience. It's just a lot more real than just blah, 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 which we do a lot of in the financial services business and in financial planning. We get stuck talking about investments and, asset classes. A lot of this stuff we're going to talk about in the weeks ahead. But when we talk about these first memories of money, we're setting the table as a financial advisor anyway, to get to know how you think about money, so that I can, the goal for me as a financial planning practitioner is to understand how you think about money, so that I can help you recognize patterns of behavior that may not be serving you well, and help you kind of change your behavior a little bit. And also, mainly, one of my big goals as a financial planning practitioner is I want to help you have more clarity and more confidence in your financial life. So that comes from a lot of other things besides this conversation about your first memories of money. But what also happens is if I can help you see the patterns in your way of thinking, a lot of people think about money in a way that doesn't serve them well. You're going to read about my conversation with my Uncle Hank, who has since passed. And what I learned from my Uncle Hank, he was the guy that I did this interview with him. In my family, Uncle Hank was the guy that, he's the one that I would want to go to and have this conversation. He was awesome. And one of the things he shared with me in this conversation is that he shared his first memory of money, which was his father, who he saw crying. He'd never seen his father cry. And the reason his father was crying is Hank grew up on a pig farm. His dad was a pig farmer. And every year, once a year, they would sell the pigs to a broker. It took all year to raise the pigs, feed them, take care of them, and so on. This dude shows up to buy the pigs, and he takes the pigs and leaves a note, but it was a scam. Can you imagine your entire year's income getting lost in a scam? Well, that's what happened to my Uncle Hank. He watched his father react to that experience by crying, which he'd never seen his father do. And that was my Uncle Hank's first memory of money. And what happened as a result of that experience was my Uncle Hank was super frugal. Like, he pinched pennies. He made a lot of money. He was very wealthy. I mean, not like, Bill Gates wealthy, but he was very wealthy. And he was one of my first clients. And what I learned from him and what I helped him experience or helped him better understand is that way of thinking about money, where it was what we call the scarcity mentality, never enough. It didn't serve him well. And he was able to kind of transition and do some things that helped him experience more contentment in his financial life. So clarity, confidence, and contentment, those are my goals as a financial planning practitioner. What I want you to do in this exercise, in this assignment, is I want you to learn from the person that you choose. Like I chose my Uncle Hank. I want you to choose someone who you believe can help you have a better perspective about money and what matters most in your life, in their life. And you'll learn that. Mistakes they made, good decisions they made. And I want to just kind of share, let me just look at what's coming up here. I want to prepare you for this interview. That's what I'm looking for. So here we go. This is my way of helping you prepare for the interview. So we talked about how you select the person you're going to interview, and I hope you're thinking about that now. As you approach them, though, I want you to have humility and gratitude. In other words, let them know that you selected them because you want to learn from them. Let them know you're in this course. It's a personal finance course, and your professor really believes that you can learn some things from someone in an older generation who's willing to share their experience and their wisdom with you. Let them know that's what you're trying to do, and you've selected them for that purpose. That's what this assignment is about. So kind of set the table with them about what this is. You don't have to tell them the questions until you actually do the interview, but make sure when you schedule the interview, when you ask them, when you invite them to participate with you in this interview, you let them know how grateful you are and how much you appreciate the opportunity to learn from them. That's really important. When you do the interview, I want you to approach it, again, with a high level of respect and sensitivity. And let me tell you what I mean by sensitivity. So you really don't know how they're going to respond to the questions that you're going to ask. There may be a good deal of emotion involved in them reflecting on the questions that you ask. There may be some pain. There may be some regret. There may be some things that they're ashamed of that they don't really like to talk about. And your job is just to be sensitive to that. Be aware, be present with them. And don't pressure them, obviously, to talk about anything they don't want to talk about. And let them know how much you appreciate them sharing and how much it can help you. And most of the time, folks will share in a very honest, open way, even though it may be a little bit painful. I just want you to be prepared for that. I want you to respect that. I want you to be kind, be generous, be considerate, and just, don't be surprised if it turns into something different than what you might think. Some of the questions that you're going to ask, they're listed in the assignment in Canvas, but here they are on the screen. They're pretty simple. What's your first memory of money? That's a great way to start the interview. It just gives you a chance to get to hear them talk about their first memories. And from there, once they share their first memories of money, you're going to have some questions, hopefully, that you're curious about, that you're going to want to ask. And you don't need my help to tell you what those questions will be, but that will be a good way for you to then get into the interview. A few other questions that hopefully you will ask, but the main point here is for you to learn as much as you can from this person that you've selected to do this interview. So I hope you will take advantage of this assignment. It can be a really helpful, powerful experience for you and for them. So good luck with this week's assignment. I think I may have a couple of, let's see. Yeah, you're going to see in Money Study Group where you will do some research for this assignment. You're going to see, again, some sections from my book, Make Your Money Count, where I share some of my first memories of money and some stories for other people, like my Uncle Hank, and how that worked. So that's about it. It is 10:47 a.m. I want to jump back into, show you my iPad real quick here. Don't forget, if you came in late, this week's secret, totally secret, class collaboration, conversation, discussion, whatever you want to call it, is I want you to explain to me, how do you sign up for RightCapital? You're going to need to be signed up for a new account. It's a Bayrock account. You'll see Bayrock is my company. It's my company. But it's RightCapital. That's the team, the financial planning portal that we use to do financial planning. This is a premium financial planning portal. You don't have to pay extra for it. It's part of the cost of Money Study Group. Some of you have asked about CTAP, and again, Money Study Group involves a lot of technology and a lot of content that was created just for you. It's not like a textbook that you just pick up through CTAP. It is what it is. If that's a problem and you don't feel like it's worth a few extra dollars to participate, you might want to consider moving from this course into one that uses more generic CTAP content. This is not a generic course, and I promise you, you will, if you go through the course with the intention of learning what I'm teaching you, it will be worth every penny. But if I get it, if you're upset that it's not covered under CTAP, then don't be upset, just move on. And But in the meantime, if you're going to stick with us, and I hope you do, I hope everybody does, this is what you're going to want to do. You don't need to be signed into RightCapital this week, but you do need to be, we need to get you set up so you can start working on your financial plan, because moving forward after this week's assignments, you will have assignments that involve RightCapital. So this is not working. This little landing page, if you see this, it's not working. So how do you sign up for RightCapital? Inside of Money Study Group, I put, I created a post called RightCapital Sign Up. I just created it. It wasn't in there an hour ago, but it is in there now in Money Study Group. And inside of that, I'm not putting the link on my website, my public website. I'm only providing that link inside of Money Study Group. But you'll see a link there, and when you click on that link, it's going to take you to this sign up page where you put in your full name and your email, the email that you want to use for RightCapital. It can be your personal email, it can be your U of H email, it really doesn't matter, but you need to remember which email you use in this form, because you're going to give me your name and email, and then I'm going to manually enter you into RightCapital. Then you will receive an email from RightCapital saying, hey, you've been invited to enter your information. So you're going to enter your information in RightCapital. And first thing I want you to do is change your birthday. Long story, but if you don't change your birthday, there's going to be a default birthday in your financial plan, and that default birthday is kind of a trigger. It's one of the things I look for to delete accounts, because we get hit with bots. I don't know how, but we do. You know, fake accounts. And fake accounts don't ever change their birthday, so I delete those. So if you enter yours, first thing you want to do is update your birthday. And then I have a list. These are the 6 data cards that you will need to complete when you sign up. And then there's a little complete button, and there's a video in Money Study Group that just walks you through this, but I just wanted to highlight it briefly. When you set up your account at RightCapital, you're going to have 6 data cards for your financial plan. They're very simple. They take just a minute, but you want to enter that information and then hit the complete button. So I'll walk you through that in a video, not right now, but that's this week's secret class collaboration question. I have so many things I want to be part of the secret class collaboration, but it just turns out this one's kind of necessary, because we've got this issue. I don't know, I'm still not sure what's happened. I've been on the phone with the tech team. This landing page that we normally use to get you onboarded into RightCapital is not working. You get an error message. I'm not sure why. The support team has not yet figured it out. So the workaround is we're just going to do this kind of manual sign up. And again, that's going to take you to this. When you hit the link in Money Study Group to sign up for RightCapital, it's going to take you here. You're going to give me your full name and the email address you want to use, and then you'll get an email from RightCapital. And then when you get that, you can log in, change your password, and save that link so you can come back to it later. But that's where you will go and start entering your financial plan. So please get me that as soon as possible. You can do it right now. Jump into Money Study Group and sign up. I'll be sitting here looking for that because once I get those your names and your email, I can't grab those from Canvas, by the way. I tried, but I can't just grab them and export them. They don't give me that access in Canvas. So I need you to give me your email, your full name, your email, and permission to send you emails. This is just a regular email form, but that's why I'm doing this, is because our normal sign-up page is not working. Sorry about that. Okay, so let me change this. This video will be in the uhplaylist.com. It's a redirect, but there is a summer school playlist for you as part of this cohort, and that's where you will find this video. As soon as I finish the live stream, I will go and move this video into that playlist. So thank you for being here. Again, if you're watching on Zoom, I apologize for what looks like a fuzzy screen, but you know, I've been discovering over the last several semesters that most students prefer watching on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn. So hopefully you're doing that. There shouldn't be any problem. We have a pretty good stream right now, it looks like, I believe. Leave a comment and let me know, what does it look like? What does it sound like? I got a new mic. Got a new Hollyland mic. This is a wireless gizmo, but it seems to work pretty good. I want to mention as we end, I've just got a couple of minutes, and I want to just kind of mention that this is my last summer school session for a while. In 2026, I will be taking a sabbatical. So I'm going to spend some time thinking about what's next for me in my teaching career. I do have one more session. I'll do fall 2025. But after that, I'm taking a sabbatical. So I just wanted to mention that. I will be sharing what I'm planning on doing next. I have some really big ideas for what I will do with the spare time that I will create during the sabbatical. And I haven't decided yet if I'm going to come back and teach after the sabbatical. I'll tell you this, the Bauer College of Business has communicated to me that they really prefer to get professors on campus, and I totally appreciate and respect that. I always taught on campus, and then COVID hit, and we were required to go online. So I went online and I invested a lot in developing what I believe is the best online asynchronous course possible for personal finance. And that's what you're experiencing this semester, although with some technical difficulties with RightCapital at the moment. But overall, this has been a very successful course, and I believe I've been able to help a lot of students learn the basics of personal finance and begin to take the right steps to be successful in their life. And I'm overwhelmed with gratitude for the opportunity to do that. But on the other hand, I'm not really eager to get in my car and drive across Houston and fight traffic on campus every week. So I'm not sure I'm willing to do that. And so that's what I'm thinking through. Not sure what my decision will be. I love teaching. I really actually like teaching in class better than online because it's so much better to look you in the eye and have real conversations with you. But here's the thing. After COVID, after teaching online for some time, I did some research, and I actually did some online and in-person courses just to find out what you thought about asynchronous courses versus in-person. And you proved to me, not you, but the students at that time proved to me without any doubt that they preferred asynchronous online learning. And the reason that was such a clear survey is because, you know, they didn't show up for class. I'd have 1 or 2 or 3, maybe 5 students out of 100 show up in class while, you know, everyone else showed up online. So that was proof to me that online asynchronous was, that's what students wanted, and that appears to be changing, at least according to some of the folks I'm hearing from. I have no doubt that in-person learning is better, but that doesn't mean it can't be good in an asynchronous setting. So I'm trying to figure that out. Just wanted to share that with you. You can give me any input that might be helpful for me to make that decision. I appreciate it, as always. And I look forward to grading especially this week's assignment, the parental interview. So good luck with your credit report assignment, and even more good luck with your parental interview. It is now time to hit the bye-bye button. Bye-bye button. I just made that up. So I'm going to hit the finish button because it is now 11 a.m. on the dot. Have a great week. I look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to reviewing your assignments in Canvas. Have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great summer.